A few days ago, I challenged myself to create game art without actually drawing anything. So I started with simple polygons and lines because they are easy to use for creating basic shapes. I made this minimalistic scene with a paddle and some bricks and it looked okay for a simple art style, but I wanted to make something more fancy. So I added shades to the bricks using two other polygons. Since single color bricks are dull, I used a cheap trick to apply a random hue to every brick. And then I moved on to the paddle where I started by making some accessories like joints and those end pieces which I don't really know how to call them. I also added some curves to make the edges smoother, and instead of making the opposite side from scratch, I just copied the data and changed the signs in the point data to save time. Next, I added some colors, but it still looked flat, so I applied gradients which made it look 3D. Now I focused on the background. I added stairs, which are just simple twin animations that destroy themselves once they finish, to make the world more alive, and I put a blur behind the game area to make it easier to focus on the game and separate it from the background. Then I enabled HDR to make glowing effects possible, and after configuring the glow parameters, I added some intensity to the border colors so they look like a lightsaber. Background still felt hollow and depressing, so I experimented with a texture rect and different gradients that looks like a remote galaxy or black hole. In my scene, I used this gradient which looks like a galaxy. Finally, I wanted to remove the expanding effect, so I added some nearly invisible detailing. It's just a blue noise I found on the internet which is mixed with the texture colors in the shader. I also added some animated stripes in the background among the stairs for variety. And that's the final result. It might look like, like a mobile game stuff, but I think it's pretty cool considering I didn't have to draw anything, it's just simple shapes and gradients.